Good evening, social media. Thank you again for logging in onto the JADASA Live discussion. This week's discussion stems from something that I talked about a couple of weeks ago, where it was just on my heart about men grieving. Why is it that society that we, as a society, that we don't give men the space to grieve when there is either a death of a child or that there is, and Mr. Haymon brought up something yesterday that I want us to talk about as well. So I want to thank you all, first of all, for coming out. Be sure to share this page, like and share JADASA Live page. Go on to our website, jadasa.org, and see all the things that we're doing. If you want to contribute, there's the information out there, but we just want to get the word out. It's about eradicating abuse in the community, and we are on many platforms, but the message is the same and the method is the same. So I want to welcome Mr. Dennis Haymon here tonight for being a part of this discussion. And we are talking about, the topic was a different kind of Father's Day. That's what brought this whole discussion up a couple of weeks ago, about a different kind of Father's Day. Father's Day was coming up, and we know that there's things that's going on, but we often overlook our fathers, even in the grieving process or when something traumatic has happened in their life, because they have a life too, and trauma happens to them as well. So again, I want to thank you, Mr. Dennis Haymon, for coming on to the JADASA Live discussion tonight.
And I'm glad to be here. I'm glad you invited me. It's a pleasure always to just share what's on your heart sometimes, and let people know that they're not alone. And that's what I'm here to do today. And in my process of grieving, and I lost of a daughter 3 weeks ago, my baby girl. And I always expect, I have 5 children, still, well, had 4 boys, no, 3 boys, 2 girls, but she was the baby girl, and next to the youngest. And I always thought, you kind of prepare yourself, you try to, but you can never do that. And I never thought it would be her that would pass. My hope was to be me first, and it didn't happen like that. And I have eulogized a lot of children in my lifetime in ministry, and always told God I didn't want it to happen to me, but it did.
Yeah, most parents always felt like they would go before their kids. I don't believe no parent would want to bury their child. It's just devastating. That just seemed like out of order. It just seemed like it's just out of order, So we want to talk about, grief and men with grief, Share with us, what is some of the reasons that you feel that society places those type of constraints on men when they have feelings as well? They have feelings. They have the void. They miss the holidays and the milestones just like everybody else.
Yes, we are taught not to cry, and even in school, when the teacher back in the day used to put the rattan on you, and the girls be in the classroom, when you go out in the hallway and come back, you shed not a tear. And so we were brought up that way, but we still have emotions. As T.D. Jakes always say, he emotions. And I tried to, when I got saved, I never had really told another man I loved them. And so, but at the lift of my hands up to Amazing Grace, tears running down my eyes, I got a release. And so even with my daughter passing on a Friday, I went there kind of stone-faced like to the scene. But when I came back, and soon I walked through my door, sat down in the first chair, and there it was, just tears all over my eyes, and then the chair is kind of close to the wall, and I raised back about 3 and hit my head a few times. I said, okay, I better hold on now. This bald head can't handle this. But I kept throwing my head back. Why, but tears still running. And so I tried to, get it together, and I did. And her cousins called me to make sure I was all right, because they was at the scene as well. And they called, and Uncle, are you good? Are you good? And I just told him I'm not good. I'm not good. I don't know how to be good right now. I'm not trying to be good. And I thought about a basketball player. I think it was Chris Webber. He had a pain in his ankle. And they tried to shoot Novocaine. I mean, yeah, Novocaine and steroids in it so he could play. He said, I don't want anything. He said, I need to feel the pain. And that's what I told God, sit in that chair. I need to feel this pain, you know, and don't want it, don't like it, but I need to feel it because I know I need to go through. You know, I have ministered too many times to process of things, and but then I'm like Job. Now this thing has come up on me. What do I do? You know, so I just
and with that being said, you saying you need to feel the pain, and we all feel the pain when we all go through. But you know, women, you know, we fall out, we lose it, we you know, rightfully so. When we're going through something, we have those moments. But you rarely expect men to have those. Society has taught us or made us feel like you rarely suspect men to have those type of moments. Because if they do have those moments,
you're absolutely correct.
And then, but don't you think that's being a disservice because it's not allowing you all to express your emotions and get it out, you know, and you have up the built up anger and the built up resentment and the built up frustrations and stuff. And sometimes it ends up coming out wrong somewhere else, which is not just because of a man, it's anybody.
What you call misdirected anger and people you really care for that's come at the wrong time and you just unleash it on them. And so with me, I went back to what I was teaching. You know, and I just went back to God. That's all I had at the time, you know. And by doing that, every day I got a little bit better. And then a call would come, you know. Then I had to deal with the funeral. Then I got to deal with the reality of it all. And so I tried to hold it together. And then I had my second, you know, flood. You know, and then I'm kind of prideful a little bit. Try to be strong, and you know, hey, don't let them see you cry. And so I tried to get it all out of me as much as I could. But God gave me a peace because I kept leaning on Him. I kept leaning on Him. It's only shoulder, and the devil tried to get on my shoulder, you know, because when I went to the house to witness what took place, the young man that she was dating was there, and I began to kind of. As I went down the steps where she was at, the police wouldn't allow me to see her. And the mother who passed me coming up the steps said, well, but Dennis, you don't want to see it like that. I said, yes, I do. But the police stopped me. And what gave me a kind of a peace when I talked to him for about 15 minutes down in the basement where she was at, but she was in the back bedroom. He said, as far as his observation, there was no foul play. So with that being said, I was kind of relaxed. But I came upstairs, talked to a boyfriend, and began to quiz him. But then I don't know who it was, a young lady. She just kept leaping into the conversation. And I almost lost it, you know. I said, do you know who I am? You know, because she telling the guy, don't say anything else. Don't say anything else. I'm like, I'm going to ask you one more time, young lady. Just chill, get quiet, get still, and let me talk to the man. You know, because I knew him. I've been over there where they at a few times, and so all this was going on. And then when I came out, because they hadn't brought out yet. When I came out the apartment, it was a 2-family flat. Her mother was standing on the sidewalk, her aunties and everything. Auntie gave me a hug, and the mother just gave me a cold look. And I had parked my car down the street and around the corner. I didn't know what to expect. So I went back old school a little bit. I said, let me park somewhere and just walk on up, you know. But I was hurting. And people just looking at me like, where is his head at? But they didn't know, you know, I'm constantly pulling on God, you know. But I can't forget what I used to know either, you know, because I don't know what I'm walking into. And so I left, and her aunties called me and apologized for their sister. I said, I know your sister, my ex-wife. I said, I know her very well. I said, but I'm past all of that. So at that point, the process kept going and kept going. And then I got to thinking about the children. So my children, I have 3 in Minnesota. I have 1 that's incarcerated. So he called me immediately, but I had to get the call from Atlanta, Georgia, from my daughter's cousin. No one in St. Louis called me. So what I'm going through, I'm thinking about that, trying not to get bitter, not trying, but I'm hurting at the same time. So I said, what kind of move is that? So the niece down in Atlanta called me, and then that's when I went over there. But the 3 children, when I came back and got materials together, I called their mothers, because I had children by 3 different women, and I called their mothers and tell them that, the sister died, because my children and I done died of death and grieved too many times because they're not even talking to me, prior to all of this,
Okay, so that's another death of a relationship.
Yes. So I've been hurting in there and reached out a few times, and but again, being that father, being that parent, I just refuse to just come all the way down to the youth today like that. I meet them halfway, but I'm not gonna let you control the situation, dictate the situation. And just for the record, I did 25 years in prison, and that put a damper on the relationship. Once I came home in 2004, I tried to rekindle those relationships. I couldn't have the childhood relationship, so I tried to have an adult relationship. And it started off good, but then I do a few things, and it took me, I guess, a couple of years to get my footing, because I came home making $8 an hour on the job for 21 months. So I went and got certified as a gang specialist, opened my nonprofit up. Then I got into flipping houses and real estate. So once I got a good payday, I shot up to Minnesota. So everything was fine for a few years. And so, but I think about it like with Kirk Franklin we talked about, when I got married again and things got good and God began to bless, they felt like somebody else had their life since I've been home,
Okay.
And so they kept bringing up the 25 years, where were you? So I'm hurting all alone. And then I get a call from a baby girl. And that devastated me,
So how does that feel like, because they all have their own birthdays, they all have their own milestones.
Mm-hmm.
Father's Day, yesterday, how did you feel? I mean, I know I can imagine the daughter, I can't imagine it because I'm not a father, but I'm pretty sure there was a void there.
Yes,
yesterday. Yesterday was like any other Father Day, even though your children are living and you might have had some kind of strained relationship, but even though the relationship is strained, there's always a possibility of a hope, right? Because they're living.
Yes, and my daughter was the very one. She would call me all the time. I call her my princess. And she would tell me that, yes, I'm your princess, but you my whole daddy. And she would come with that one. And I said, well, what do you want? You're already in my pocket with that one, So we had that type of relationship, but she would call, even my son that's incarcerated, he would call, and I talk with him. But the other 3 in Minnesota, so I'm sitting here Father's Day, and her being buried, gone. My other son, he's incarcerated. I heard from no one, so and it's been going on a few years, 2-3 years for sure. Probably 4 years ago, they would spring up every now and then, and then even with we had some knockdown, drag out conversations, and even when they called, I still helped because at the end of the day, they still mature.
Right.
So, because one of them got into a situation, and I had to make bond for him. We wasn't even talking. So he called his mother and his brother, but I said, well, if he's man enough to talk crazy to me, be man enough to ask for my money. Tell him to call me. If he calling you, he can call me, because I'm still gonna be that father and be that parent. So
how did you get through yesterday?
Well, I had a strange weekend, not strange. With all that was going on, Friday I had a wedding rehearsal, and Saturday I officiated a wedding. I married a couple, and so I did that. I performed the wedding out there in Baldwin Park, and then so yesterday I got blessed. A friend of mine called me, said, "Hey, I got turkey legs, cabbage, baked sweet potatoes, cornbread." So I went over, and then when I left there, I went to the married couple's house to sign the marriage certificate and license. So I then, because I ain't getting wedding cake Saturday. It rained so hard Saturday, I had to run off and leave the wedding cake. So I was able to do that. So that was my Father's Day. Just still doing what I know to do, because I look at it like people are still doing what they want to do, still making decisions. I said, why should I hit brakes? And ministry is what I love. That keeps me going. And then the young people in the streets, I love them so much. That's why I'm outreach out there, trying to stop the violence and all. And I thought about it. My brother, because her birthday is July 25th. My daughter just passed. My brother died on July 25th on her birthday last year. So, and that was, so I went to see her on her birthday, tell her that her uncle just passed, and all that's going on. So it hasn't even been a whole year. I had 2 deaths. My only brother, now he's older than me, but, and then my daughter. And both of them were somewhat drug related, and here in my past life used to be drugs, willing and dealing, but I didn't look at God like, are you punishing me, this, that, and other? I'm reaping what I've sown, this, that, and other. I didn't, because I have never charged God for anything. Mm-hmm. Never charged me. I'm grateful right now, at this juncture in my life. So I'm staying there. But
so do you feel that with the relationship with your daughter that's going on, and the relationship with the kids, the lack of relationship with the kids that's here, is how you feel that void is by helping somebody else's kids, like the ones in the streets?
Yes, you're exactly right. And even take it a step further, when at the time I was in prison, I used to help young men with their legal work. And I would tell them, Jesus does not have me helping you so you go ahead and shoot somebody in the head. I catch you walking with these gang members again, I'm handing you paperwork. But what I told them, they try to pay me. I don't want any money because I'm sowing a seed. I can't be on the street with my children. Somebody will look out for mine. I'm looking out for somebody else's. And so it's just the principles of God. That's all I had. When I accepted Christ in 1991, I was willing to deal in the penitentiary for 12 years and just stopped on a dime. Didn't want to be like that anymore. And so I didn't know how I was going to take care of myself. This, that, and other. The money I had before I left had dissipated and gone to lawyers and all kind of people who they took what they did, figured I had a life sentence to never get out. And but I just got to the point, looked in the mirror and didn't like what I saw anymore. And I wanted to change.
So is the street life, the streets, I'll put the streets, is that what attribute to the way you handle grief? Because everybody don't handle it the same. And I know there are some men who, as I told you about, I witnessed a couple of them talking about this particular lady's death, which it was the father and it was the uncle. And I heard the grief. I heard the pain in their voice. I heard the anger. Mm-hmm. I heard it, but they did not let loose like the females. Mm-hmm. And so I took note of that, and I realized, I said, wait a minute, but what if they did? What if they need to? What if they needed to get that release out of them so they can heal? What have we as a society done to allow them to have to keep a lid and to keep a cap on that? Because I feel like what's on the inside, if you don't get it out, that's how it starts breeding sickness and disease and unforgiveness and hurt and all that stuff and all that going on the inside. And so I just wonder, why is it, or what happened that men felt like I always got the, I got the be tough. I got the, not saying that you're not tough or you're not the father role or you're not being the strength or the pillar of the family, but that's still your baby too. You had a part in them growing up. You had a part of their life. You're gonna feel the same. You're gonna miss the same things that parents miss. And I was saying, it doesn't matter whether you were in the same household or not with them. If you had a relationship with a child, and y'all married, but you still had a relationship with that child, that still is going to affect you if something traumatic happened to them. You're still going to miss all the milestones, and you're still going to say, I wish she was here or whatever, he was here.
Mm-hmm. And you and thinking of that, by having children by 3 different women, I told my sons, don't do what I did. You can't be there in all those places on holidays that you're talking about in different places. And so that creates a problem. So don't do what your father did. We moving a fast life and it happens. So, but I would say this here. My mother passed. I was driving over in Manchester where she used to stay, and I passed the White Castle that she likes on Saturdays, and tears run down. I started beating the steering wheel. Did I do enough? Could I have done more? Because she went into Delmore Gardens, a nursing home, and I began to tax myself and charge myself, and that was 2015. And then, with my brother, where he stayed, I go down Delmore and I see the place, but what I did with him, I kept looking at, because we videoed the funeral. I just kept, after he passed, and I guess I must have saw that funeral about 8 times. Kept going over it, tears still coming, because I guess I just trying to get it out of my system. I said I got to take as much as I can and push the process, because I know I got to keep going. Now people are dependent on me. People expect me to go, but sometimes with that expectation, we don't grieve. Right. We try to stay busy and to negate the feeling again, the pain but this time with my daughter, I told God, I need to feel this. I need to go through this, because I had work to do, and that's what I did. And every day it got better. Every day, but I would say this, for me, they were calling, checking up on me. Morning, afternoon, I'm talking even guys. They were checking up on me because they knew how much I loved her. Even though we weren't under the same roof or whatever, but that was my princess, and everybody knew it. And so, but they were like, this dinner's going to explode sooner. And I haven't had that true moment yet either. But I know it happened on that Friday and Sunday. That Sunday, I was standing up in the living room and backed up to the wall. And I just slid down the wall to the floor, Didn't even want.
Take your time.
These the moments I tried to avoid. But I'm all right. But just slid down to the floor.
Okay. It's okay. That's your baby. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. It takes nothing. And for those that are watching, that's why we're having this conversation. It is okay. We need to give our men the space to grieve. We need to give them that space to come to terms or to come to grips with whatever. It's not always just mama and grandmama and aunties and TTs and stuff. Men who have relationship with their kids, they feel the same thing as women. They go through the same, emotion, the cycle. They miss the holidays. They miss the milestones. Well, she would have been, he would have been here. I wish if I graduated, or I wish so-and-so could have been here. When I got me, I wish men go through the same thing. And so I just feel like, Mr. Haymon, that we as a society, I think we have put so much on men to handle stuff. To be able to, quote unquote, man up.
You
want to say that, but they goes through They go through it. And I have people in here saying it's okay. It's okay to grieve men. Yes. And somebody saying it's okay, Dennis. And that's what I want them to know. It is okay. But I just feel like we as a community, we as a society, we need to allow the men space. It takes nothing from men. It takes nothing from the manhood. It takes nothing from your strength. It takes nothing from who you are to grieve, because you got men have feelings just as well. We didn't bring kids in the world by ourselves. It takes two.
Yes, indeed.
It takes two. And I just wanted to commend that, and for them to see it's okay. It takes nothing from you, but go to the grieving process, because I feel like that's why we have people that's angry.
Yes.
People that's angry, people that, were men, they're frustrated because they holding all of this stuff in. Let me give you a case in point. I remember my daughter was 3 or 4 years old. She's 31 now. And we was driving in a car, and I had pulled up to the stop sign, and there was this car with gang members in it. And my daughter was, looking at them, waving and all the stuff. And they was waving at her and stuff. But when I turned and looked, they instantly stopped that smile and got that hard look. Like, they hard. Even though they was playing with her and showing a softer side, they didn't want me to see that, because I guess they thought I would think they were weak or whatever. And I never forgot that. I never forgot that. Why is it that they have to always assume the role and be there? And I think we as a community, as a society, have done men a disservice where we don't. I think we have aided in the traumatic events and the mental illness, and because they holding that stuff in, and it just goes into different other areas. And I think
we are taught to be providers and protectors, but every man knows their weakness, they know their strength. They might not admit it, but they know themselves. And so what I did, I tried to chart out a pathway for me, knowing me. And like I say, the devil even tried to get on my shoulder and man, that old guy need to just pop up one more time. You'll get the answers that you're looking for. And but I know not to go that way. I know not to go backwards. And so, and knowing me, and so I just said, okay, man, everybody has a piece. Her mother's all right. The boys, her brothers are all right. Everybody's good with it. The police gave me what I needed, no foul play. And so I just started pulling on different things to tell myself that you have to go forward, man. But in the process of that, I wasn't even going to the funeral at first. I didn't want to see my baby in that casket. And so when I finally went to the funeral home, to see the director, and he was saying that the mother, I said, what, in denial? He said, I didn't want to say it, but yes. I said, well, realistically, I am too. I got a slight denial going on with me, but I'm just operating in mine, because I didn't want to accept it. I didn't want to deal with it. But I had to admit, I was doing it too. But again, the reality of it all, man, that all of us gonna go this way. And I knew my daughter's what I told people, that she had problems here. She does well, then she relapsed. She does well, relapse, have a few good years. And when life comes at you, and like life just came at me with the death of my daughter, and I know a lot of people just revert back, look for excuses to act out that anger that you're talking about. See, they're looking for an excuse, but it's at the end of the day, I know I don't want to get all religious and spirituality, but it's Jesus at the end of the day. I can't go in a place but that.
Yeah.
That's all I know.
So, Mr. Haymon, can you explain to our viewers, because we have quite a few people watching and commenting and stuff, what is some of the things, how can they get over, or I ain't gonna say get over, how can they deal with it? What are some of the ways that we should allow, because majority of women are looking, listening, and watching. What is some things that we as women can do to help our men, or the men in our lives, and like our husbands and our brothers and our dads and our uncles and our sons who are grieving or going through some kind of traumatic experience? What can we do as women and as a society to give you all that space without making you all feel like, oh, I'm a failure. Oh, I dropped the ball. Oh, you know, I'm not manning up. What can we do to help? Because I just feel like we can. It starts with us somewhere.
Yeah. First of all, women can give some of men their jobs back. Y'all took all of our jobs. That's the first thing you can do. Get out of Home Depot, get out of Chrysler and all that, General Motors. Give us our jobs back so we can be providers. You know, you all are more administrative type. You know, yeah. So, but no, truth of the matter, sometimes a good hug to speak into his life, holding them at the same time, letting us know that it's all right. You know, and that's what my niece did, the one that called me from Atlanta that told me that. She stayed by my side. Unc, I'm your whole niece now. So since you was Lady's whole daddy, I'm gonna be your whole niece. And she would text me every morning, whole Unc, this is your whole. She stayed engaged, you know, and then told me that it was all right. So I saw her a couple times, and even I have a friend, a guy. I wanted to take a nap, and so I took the nap and turned the telephone off. He lit into me when that phone came back on. Right now, if you're gonna turn that phone on, you text me first. Let me know you turned it off. You know, and just letting me know, man, we care. You know,
yeah,
and going beyond. Don't worry about if I'm offended or not. You know, because true love coming, you won't be offended. And so we just, I think if the women continue to love on us, to empower us, to encourage us, and so a lot of times in difficult times, see, they say that, you know, in baseball, says you can hit a grand slam, but you're already leading by 8 runs already. It wasn't necessary. Don't tell me that you hit the grand slam. Tell me when you hit it. When pressure's on, when things are chaotic. That's when we need you all the most for that encouragement, because everybody does.
That's good to know. But one thing I do know as a woman, what we should not do, and I know I see a lot of women do it, even in the field what I'm in, and whenever they get past it and we get mad, don't go bringing it up.
And so, and they ask, well, God tell us to forgive and forget. Well, I can't forget, people say. Well, forgetting works like this here, what you just said. I forgave you and I won't bring it back up. That's, although you still know about it, you haven't thrown it to the east as far as to the west and all that. No, you have, but you don't bring it up. And especially at the times of disagreement and things of that nature, don't come out with that Gatling gun or that AK that pop up, because you all can out-talk us all day long. Y'all go like, you know, we can get a word in. So what?
Yeah, they say women talk 25,000 words a day and men 10,000.
Yeah, and so what man would do, he will walk away. That pushes man away. You know, he might not say a word, but in his mind, as he take his steps, he's processing, because he really just avoid the confrontation. You know, so it's that love at the end of the day.
So we should allow you guys to have your moments. Be comfortable enough to have your moments in front of us, but yet still see you as the man, and give us that pillar and that respect. Just because you are just having a moment. Let you have your moment, but it takes nothing away from the statue. It takes nothing away from your manhood. It takes nothing away from your strength. It takes nothing away from your protection. It takes nothing away from who you are as a man. That's what you're saying we need to do it.
Yes.
Not only as women, but as a community, as a society.
Exactly. Because when man looks into your eyes, he need to see the look of admiration. When he doesn't see the look of admiration, whatever you're saying, if that look is gone, he knows it's over. Basically, just a matter of time. So when we don't care how far we down on our luck, how weak we might be, or what things not going correct, but when we look in your eyes, we have to see that. And I had done marriage counseling, and I tell them, hey, you look in your wife's eyes, your fiance, that look is no longer there. We have to see that, affirming us, basically what it comes down to.
And then why don't men tell us that?
See, no, hey, you off script.
No, what I'm saying, because if you tell us that, that's how we help you.
Yes, true.
Even when you have a moment, because everybody has a moment, but it's just the thing about it is with women and with society, we don't give you all that space. We don't give y'all that space. You know, we want y'all to man up. They are man up. They just having an issue.
You know what?
Or they're having a moment with whatever that's going on.
When I was growing up, my father nor my mother told me they ever loved me. They always showed me that love. See, we have a different language. See, man is wired different than woman. You know, and a lot of times women think we're wired like that, like you all, and it's not so. You know, and I tell them, so you got to take this issue up with God, because the things that, and I know my mother. I mean, 91 when she passed, and I knew that woman loved me. Never told me that. And I can ask for a last dime. She'll clear a bank account out. Mom, I got a deal. I need some more help on it. I'm gonna give it back at the end of the. She'll clear the bank account out. That's the kind of mother, but never told me that. You know, and my father definitely didn't. But I'd come home. He'll come home from work. I'd jump on his leg and ride him like a cowboy, like he's a hard, you know. But he never said. But those are things we got to understand. The body language, like we're talking about, basically, and just really feeling. And then those that are spiritual, we have to be sensitive to the spirit, you know, because everything we can't just by law this here says that I need to operate like this, sir, and but that's not. We need to know that we do have that freedom. And when you tell a man that I understand that you know, hey, mistakes will come. You know, you're gonna be up, be down, but a good man, just man, falls 7 times and rise again. So, and I have failed a few times, and I believe the scriptures on that. And but we hear it from you all. That affirmation that is so important, you know, and then again, you know, we talk about the fathers, the brothers, the men in your lives. Touch is important. Touch is very important. I mean, as you speaking life into us. See, the right woman tell me I could jump off that building and fly. I just might try, you know, because.
So when you say touch, you mean just like, you know, the head on the shoulder, oh, it's going to be okay.
It's going to be okay. The hand, the hug, I mean, both, and just looking them in the eye.
Yeah.
It's going to be all right.
Yeah.
You know.
And I think if we as a society, and I'm saying society, even starting our homes and our families and our circles, I think that would help. I think, and I'm just kind of going left. I'm shooting it to the start. I think it will alleviate some of this crime that's going on as well. Crime.
Okay, yeah.
I think it would alleviate some of this crime.
I got you.
That's going on too, because everybody feel like they got to man up, and if you do them wrong, if I even look like I'm go, you know, let it slide, then I'm not being a man because of the way society and we and our families and stuff, the way we have put that load on you guys, well, you have to carry so much.
but that's a load that God has put on us somewhat also, the respect part. See, he said, wives love your, husband love your wives, and wives respect, reverence your husband.
Right.
So
right.
respect, and that's what we wired for. Back in the day, you step on our shoes in the club and don't say excuse me. Oh man, wait till we get you outside. Because it's a matter of respect. And so when the woman gives that, irregardless of what, even though he domestic, but you still have to respect. If you take a man's manhood from him, you snatch it, he's really that's feeble at that point. He's weak.
And we can do that with our mouths, I know. I know we can do that with our mouths. So the thing about you saying, to help you guys when men are going through, when men have traumatic experience, when men dealing with some of the same things we're dealing with, look them in the eye, let them know, touch them, we're okay, we're here for you, speak life into them. It's okay, it's gonna be okay, we gonna be fine. So it's we're not showing them, we're not making it where they can be vulnerable around us.
See, because what happens is this, and you hear a lot of times when death comes in the family, and people would say, hey, if you need anything, call me. You already know what's needed. See, people play that game, So when man hears that, pride kicks in. He doesn't say, oh, I'm all right, I'm good. But you already know, because you've probably been through it in some aspect, probably not the same that way that we have, but using that empathy, you have to become a man who has lost a daughter to understand me right now. Not as a woman who lost a daughter, you have to become a man, put yourself in my shoes. The daddy's little girl, the love that we have, the opposite attracts, and to understand that part of me right now. And empathy plays a great part. So when people already know, we got so much traditional sayings and all of that type of stuff, but we know, and so, but if you ask a man, that man he gonna, like you say, man up. No, I'm all right, I'm good,
because society made them feel they had to do that.
Yes, but if you say, I'm going to do this here, I know. Well, now this is what I'm going to do. I'm gonna come by, check on you, this, that, another. I'm gonna call you, this, that, another. Or, you know what? I know you. I'm gonna cook some dishes, and you already, especially, and even myself, I really didn't think that would mean a lot to me, but I found out those texts, them calls, and then a part of me said, "Won't they stop?" but then when they keep going, oh yeah, that's good. That's I'm feeling the love. And keep
okay, that's good to know. So we need to do those same things, ladies. We need to do those same things. If we calling our girlfriend, checking on her, seeing how she doing, just text her, hey, I'm just checking on you. Men need the same thing. They need to say, they may not ask for it. They may not come about it the same way as we as women will. But guess what? Like as Mr. Haymon said, they feel the love, that it makes them feel like they're not in it by themselves. They're not lonesome. They're not dealing with whatever it is that they're dealing with, that somebody is at least empathizing with them.
And I have one that's on the line. I think I thought I saw her name, Laverne.
Michelle.
Yeah, Michelle. Yeah, she does it relentlessly. That's my sister right there. I mean, nothing but love, and I appreciate it. And I thank God for her.
Well, that's what she put out. You see it across the screen.
I'm just saying it now. Yeah. Dennis, my whole big brother.
Yep. Well, Mr. Haymon, we went over, but that's okay. But I wanted to talk about this because, like I said, this was something that was on my heart when I heard those two men, and I heard the hurt in their voice, and I heard the pain in their voice at this rally, and I said, wait a minute, they hurting just like the women, but we tend to focus more on the female, you know, and their emotional being and their psychological being, and then we just expect, you know, out of habit, we just expect the man, he got it, he all right, he cool, and then not all the time he ain't all right, he ain't got it.
And even
He's just telling you that because that's what society told him that's how he should act, but it's not. So, ladies, if we come across, you know, we've had a lot of deaths. We know people that have died, buried kids and sons and daughters and stuff. Let's reach out to our men. Let's let them know that we love them, that we're thinking about them, that, you know, we're there for them. Check on them. Hey, how you doing? I'm just checking on to see how you doing. You know, whatever, you know, if it's a man and you marry, okay, tell your husband to call him or whatever. You know,
I have had that to happen. Matter of fact, her husband just called me. The phone rung. It was Mike.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, but I had my sister-in-law's husband. They called, and a couple of them that called, about 4 or 5. We don't even talk. I mean, we're good with each other. You know, we see each other. We all court, but we never had the telephone conversation. Then I look up. Here it is. You know, and that same word. I'm just checking on you.
Good.
You know?
And so that's what we want to do, ladies. A different kind of Father's Day. Yet Father's Day was yesterday, and I'm pretty sure all the men that I've helped dealt with just this year, along with Mr. Haymon, that has a death of a child, whether it was through traumatic, cancer, whatever. They trust me. I'm pretty sure this Father's Day was different for them.
Yes, it was.
And they felt it just like any mother would if we had Mother's Day. So we want to be able to allow them the space to grieve and not take nothing away from them, and not feel like if they do grieve and if they have that space that they are somehow letting us down. We cannot no longer make them feel that way. And so,
can I say one more thing?
Yes.
To the women.
Yes.
A lot of times women don't want to take the risk of the offense that the gentleman might have, whatever. But I would say to them, it's worth the risk. You just don't know how important it is, you know. And God, if you pray before you do it, He already set, you know, the heart right to receive it. But we have to take the chance, the risk, to reach out to people and never stop trusting people and believing in people. And with that, I'm done.
That's good. I like that. Let's not stop believing in people. Our men need us to believe in them, regardless whatever they're going through. They need us to believe in them so they can continue on doing what they do. So I want to thank you all. This was a very good conversation. I appreciate you, Mr. Haymon, because you shared some stuff that I didn't know. And some people were saying, oh, this is really good. This is good to know. We needed to know that. And we need to hear that. And what better from a man who can share firsthand a traumatic experience and who is willing to share his experience with us to let us know how you felt and what worked and what's not working. And so we'll know, because I'm pretty sure it's going to be somebody else next month, you know. And so, ladies, again, we will talk to you guys and we'll have another session on. I want to make
sure they see my daughter.
Oh, yeah. So you see his daughter. What is her name?
JADASA, we call her Lady.
Oh, okay.
At 2 years old, she was a lady.
Oh, okay. How old was she? 52?
No, she was 44 when she passed.
Oh, 44. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So we thank you all. And it just says your wings were ready, but my heart was not. And I'm pretty sure that was so true. And but you know, God is keeping you, Mr. Haymon. You continue to work with those kids in the streets because they need it. Yeah. They need more like you, and we appreciate you. So, ladies, with that being said, I want you to be safe. I want you to be whole, and I want you to be well. Remember, it is JADASA 24/7, 365 days a year, all day, every day. With that said, good night.